Hello everybody, welcome back into All In with Colin. My name is Colin Sheehan. I hope you're all having a tremendous day. You hopefully have gotten the hangover taken care of after the Belmont Stakes. An excellent race in which we saw Mo Donegal prove that he is on the scene and someone that's going to be making some noise in the 3-year-old division this summer. The Triple Crown is a showcase event for horse racing, and understandably, with Rich Strike skipping the Preakness for fringe players who only turned in for those 3 big races, it was probably, I know it was a disappointment to not have them in the Preakness. But I think as El Hombre and Vinny went through the list of 3-year-olds up for Horse of the Year, I think we're in for a special treat this summer with a lot of horses in a division that is going to be very competitive. I think we know that they're all pretty closely bunched. And I would suggest you go back and watch that video, as they brought up some great points on what that 3-year-old division is going to look like as we head into the summer with the Haskell and the Travers and the different derbies that we have in Grade 1 races leading up to Breeders' Cup in November. This show is about learning from all of you, hopefully you learning from me. So I figured with the Triple Crown out of the way, I'd utilize this week as an opportunity to go back on June 6th at Parks, because I saw something in a race that proved to be very helpful for me in finishing top 5 in a horse tourney tournament. Horsetourneys.com is a website where you can go. It's a great opportunity where you maybe don't want to be spending your money on every single race, and geez, I keep losing because I'm putting money into all these races. Horse tourneys, there's sort of a fee that you pay to get into, and then you have action in all the races. It's a pick and pray, so you have to put in all of your picks before the first race goes off. And on this particular day, I entered for a low cost in hopes of winning a ticket to a higher priced game. So that's one of the models of horsetourneys.com is you buy in for a lower price to hopefully get into a higher price game, which then has a grand prize of an even higher price game. So I was trying to qualify for the Spot and Surf, which is a $2,500 entry, I believe. And so this game that I was playing was a $34 entry with the top 5 receiving a ticket to the next level. And so in these types of tournaments, you really need to find value, and that's something that I need to be thinking about every day as I'm playing parimutually, is find value, not just trying to find winners. And so I'll bring up what happened with the standings that day. As you can see, I ended up finishing 4th with $53, and my whole day was centered around the Parks Race 7. You can see I have it circled there with the 3, who ended up paying $18.20 to win and $8.40 to place for a total of $26. So half of my money to get to that 4th place position was all based on this race that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how I came across that winner, because I think it's something that we could pay attention to when you're going through and handicapping a race, the angle that I saw on that day. So what I saw was, here you have Parks Race 7 from June 6th, 7.5 furlong race on the turf for optional claimers for $16,000. One thing I like to do when I start handicapping is on the top right here you have the lifetime performances of a horse, and it breaks it down by if they've run on the turf or if they've run on the dirt. So this first horse has run 24 times, 16 of those on the dirt, only 1 time on the turf. I went to the second race, 22 lifetime races, 15 were on synthetic with 5 races on the turf. Horse 3, 33 times run, 24 times on the dirt. And here's what I noticed right away: 7 times on the turf with a first, a second, and a third. So although the total earnings for this horse was only $26,000, I had to kind of keep in mind that he had only run 7 times. And we're going to come back to this 3. So on we go to race number, horse 4, had run 7 times, only 1 time on the turf with a speed figure of 74. Horse 5 was scratched. Horse 6, 9 times run, 6 times on the dirt, 0 times on the turf. I started to question myself, was this race really running on the turf? Because these all seem to be dirt horses. Next one, 18 lifetime races, 4 times on the turf, did have a win with a Bayer speed figure or Brisnet speed figure of 74. This was horse number 8, and this obviously stood out, right? 38 lifetime races, 25 times on the turf, 1 win, 4 seconds, 4 thirds. But the thing that I knew everyone was going to see was this number right here, which is $118,000 on the turf. And so when you're going through, and as you've seen so far with this field, nobody even comes close to that. This horse was scratched. Here's another horse that had run 16 times lifetime on the lifetime, 4 times on the turf with 1 second. The last horse here, 21 lifetime races. This horse had been running on the turf, so 13 races on the turf, a first, second, 1 first, 2 seconds, and a third. One thing that stood out to me, and that's why I highlighted it here on green that day, was the lengths behind, 17, 29, 14, 21, so not really competitive at all. I also took note of the odds, not really in the mix at all. Sometimes I draw these lines here to show the difference in age. So this is a 5-year-old gelding. So here is their year 5, here is their year 4. And then what I do is I look at the speed figures to see, is there a big improvement from age 4 to 5? Not necessarily. He was actually running better at 3 when had some 70s more consistently. And so that was your field, okay? So let's go back to the 8, who ended up being the favorite, Lake Nakuru. And Brisnet will point this out for you, which is what I highlighted in red. Only 2 wins in 38 career starts, okay? 2 wins in 38 career starts. 25 of those starts were run on the turf. Let's go back to this 3. They have the exact same note, basically, only 2 wins in 33 career starts. However, if you think about that, with only 7 of those starts being on the turf, there's a first, a second, and a third, and the speed figure was right in line with what they thought the average would be, and was basically close to Lake Nakuru as well. So in a tournament, when you're looking for this value, whereas Lake Nakuru had run an 87, I'm sorry, so it was significantly higher, which I bet is what the public saw when they made this horse the favorite. However, that 87 is nowhere to be seen in these past performances. So for me, that was something that happened a while ago, and he would have to get back to that best effort in order to, perform like that again. So in this tournament, when you're looking on to make a decision for value, are you going to take the horse that I think was 2 to 1, or a horse here that I saw was 8 to 1, and I hope I get 8 to 1 when the race comes around, and take a shot that this horse does have the ability on the turf, as seen by only having 7 races and finishing in the money 3 times. So although they're highlighting that there's only 2 wins in 33 career starts, if you realize that 24 of those starts were on the turf, and then only look at the 7 that were on the turf, that is how I ended up finding value on this particular race. I'll bring up what the final results ended up coming out as. As you can see, the 3 did finish first, paying $18.20, as I showed you in my horse tourney standings. The 8 did run well, running second. However, as I showed you, and I'll bring that back up, that ended up being the difference between me finishing out of the money and finishing in the top 5 to win that ticket to go on to a higher price tournament. Unfortunately, in that higher price tournament, I didn't have as much luck. I think I finished 20th maybe, top 14, either won the prize or won some sort of money, so I just missed out on that. But it was a perfect example of where you need to kind of find that value within your picks. And one thing that also was huge on this day was I was the only one out of, I think it was 24 or 28 entries. I was the only one that had that 3. And so in a pick and pray, you don't know what everyone else is going to have before the race starts, obviously, or before the first race goes off. But when I saw that I had the only one that had him, and then he won, that is basically what set me apart to get into that top 5. So you have to be willing to throw out, even though that Lake Nakuru showed all of that significant turf experience, and the money amount of career earnings probably jumped out at a lot of people. Taking a look at the percentage of amounts races started on the turf and the performance is how I got to that yee. And so this is something I'd like to continue to dive into. Stable Duel is another future episode we'll do, where I had a great showing last Sunday at a Gulfstream park. So I'll do a future episode on how we put together those Stable Duel stables. And I hope you all enjoy the racing at Royal Ascot this week. I won't be posting much. I have my birthday on Saturday. It's Father's Day on Sunday. Helping with a Miracle League tournament that we put on every year through work. So we'll catch up next week, and we'll take a look at some of that Stable Duel and how you put together a stable in order to hopefully help you perform better in those tournaments as well. Have a great day, everybody.